Hey builders, before we jump into today's episode, I want to make sure you know about the free masterclass we are hosting on Monday, August 7th, 2023, and you are welcome to join. So in this masterclass, we are going to be building your back to school staff alignment plan. We have a one-page plan that we're going to help you complete and fill out so that you have everything you need in one place to show you how to get your staff all on the same page from the very beginning and keep them on the same page throughout the entire school year. So if you haven't seen it already, make sure that you go to buildershipuniversity.com/masterclass so that you can join. It starts at 7 p.m. Eastern, and there will be no recording. So you will have to show up live. But everybody who does show up live, not only do you get the one-page back-to-school staff alignment plan, but we have a couple of other surprises that you're going to get as well, some tools that you're really going to find useful as you get ready for your staff. Again, it's buildershipuniversity.com/masterclass. Now, on to the show. You're listening to the School Leadership Reimagined podcast, episode 219. How do builders like us make a dramatic difference in the lives of our students in spite of all the obstacles we face? How do you keep your vision for your school from being held hostage by resistant teachers, uncooperative parents, ridiculous district policies, or lack of time, money, or resources? If you're facing those challenges right now, here is where you'll find the answers, strategies, and actionable tips you need to overcome any obstacle you face. You don't have to wait to make a difference in the lives of the people you serve. You can turn your school into a success story right now with the people and resources you already have. Let's get started. Hey builders, welcome to another episode of the School Leadership Reimagined podcast. I'm your host, Robin Jackson, and today we are continuing the Summer of Success series, and this is Success Secret number 6, and it's pretty straightforward. Don't talk about it, be about it. You see, on today's episode, I want to talk about one of the things that I've seen that I think distinguishes builders more than anything else. And that is that builders implement. Now, if you're anything like me, you consume a lot of information. I mean, people who listen to podcasts, we tend to be readers, right? I listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to podcasts every single day. I'm constantly consuming information. I'm always reading a book of some sort or an article or a blog or watching something on YouTube. I'm constantly consuming information. But here's the challenge, is that we can get so caught up in consuming information and learning new things that we think that is a substitute for actually implementing. See, I've been thinking about this a lot because I heard someone recently define learning in a way that I'd never heard it before, which is that learning is simply facing the same circumstances, but choosing a different action. Now, as an educator, I quarreled with that definition for a long time because I thought, learning is so much more, noble and profound than that. But at the end of the day, it really is just that simple. It really is a matter of facing the same circumstances, but taking different action. That is, at its very essence, learning. And so the more that I've been thinking about, the more that I've come to embrace that definition, especially when it comes to my own trajectory, the work that I do. And so the reason I want to talk to you about this today was because I think that a lot of us are stuck in a loop where we are consuming information, but we're not learning from it. And if that's you, then first of all, know that you're not alone. I often struggle with the same thing. But second of all, let's fix it. Let's together figure out how you can do something different this year, how you can actually learn from everything you're consuming. So the first thing that happens is that our training has taught us to fill a toolbox, right? Like you hear that from the time you are a teacher, you need to fill your teacher toolbox. And so you go in and you just gobble up all this information. You grab every resource you can and you just put it in your toolbox in case you need it one day. But the challenge is if you just kind of grab stuff and put it in your toolbox, but you never actually implement it, then all you're doing is lugging around all of these things that you've learned and they're just weighing you down. And you keep thinking, if I just had one more thing, then that thing would help me get to where I want to go. But that's not true. It's, we know this. I remember when I first shifted from being a teacher to being an administrator, I was cleaning out my classroom and I found all these handouts from conferences, all these lesson plans that I had, gotten from other teachers, especially at the beginning. Like I remember the beginning of being a teacher, I went to a friend of mine's classroom who had been a teacher for a few years and we both taught the same subject. And I said, do you have anything that could help me? And she gave me this huge stack of lesson plans and assignments and sample tests. And I didn't use any of it. And then it just sat in the file cabinet for years. And, I'm dating myself, right? Because nobody uses file cabinets anymore. But it sat in my file cabinet for years. And I saw it every year and I'd look through it. And I said, it doesn't really fit my style. I don't have time to go through it. And it would just sit there. And I felt guilty about throwing it away. So I just carried it with me from classroom to classroom for like almost 10 years until I finally became an administrator. And then even as an administrator, I didn't want to throw stuff away. So I took boxes of stuff home because I said, maybe I can hand it off to other teachers. Maybe I'll save it for, something. Maybe I'll go back to teaching one day because I wasn't even sure, that I wanted to be an administrator because I loved teaching so much. And so, I just saved this stuff for years. And then I remember moving, into another house and just finally looking at this box of things. And, they were now 15 years old and finally deciding to throw them away. And even now, I still wonder, should I have kept it? Could I have passed it on? Those, you always carry that guilt. And I did the same thing as an administrator. When I became an administrator, I would just keep stuff. I would, go to conferences. I'd get all kinds of handouts. Then when I entered into the digital age, on my camera roll, I took all these pictures of all these slides and all these keynotes and workshop presentations. I have a Google Drive full of stuff. I consume a lot of information, but when I really think about it, how much have I actually implemented? And maybe you're the same way. Maybe you're listening to this podcast every single week and learning about being a builder and consuming all of this information about being a builder. But how much have you actually implemented? You see, we start early learning how to consume. We think that consuming information makes us good at our jobs, makes us the kind of educator that is always innovating. And so we consume all this information. And we also lurch from, one concept or theory to another, one thing to the next. We have a very DIY aesthetic. And so we think that if I consume enough information, I will be able to figure this out on my own. But we get stuck in a consumption cycle and we never do anything about it. Sure, we can talk about buildership and, people come to me all the time and they say, hey, listen to the podcast. I'm a builder. I meet them in real life and I'm so excited. And then I start asking questions. So what have you done? What have you implemented? Well, I'm still working on my vision and, but I'm going to get it done. And I'm going to go back and listen to these episodes or they pick and choose and, do some things that are kind of adjacent to what they're already doing. But they never take the plunge. And they do it for years. And this podcast has been in existence for years. And there's some people who have listened to every episode. They listen to it in a car, on their walk, or while they're doing dishes. But they never do anything about it. They never implement. They're always in the process. They're always waiting for the right moment to get started. And I'm going to say something that, maybe even against my best interest. I want you to listen to the podcast. But if you listen to this podcast and you never implement what you're learning, what is the point? So why do we do this? Let's talk about 3 reasons why we do this and how we can overcome this trap of consumption versus implementation. So the first reason that we do it is because we don't fully believe that buildership is going to be the game changer we think it is, right? I mean, we're intrigued by it maybe, and maybe you're hearing this and saying, yeah, I mean, I see some of the concepts, I see how it could work, but there's a part of you that still thinks leadership is going to get you there. There's a part of you that doesn't want to give up the leadership stuff that you already know and you're already good at, even though the leadership stuff doesn't serve you. You see, you've had training on leadership. Leadership is what has gotten you to where you are right now. Because of your leadership skills, you are a principal when other people are still trying to get jobs. Because of your leadership skills, you've been able to kind of take the helm of a school and get some professional accolades for what you've done in your school. Because of leadership, you have experienced a degree of success. And so turning your back on that, embracing something else, you're not, while you may be intrigued, you may not fully believe that buildership can actually get you where you want to go. You don't actually believe that buildership could be the game changer that you've been looking for. And so you kind of straddle buildership and leadership, and you don't want to turn your back on buildership, right? Because you do see the merit and the value in it, but you're not quite ready to turn your back on leadership. And so you want to find ways to combine it, or you want to find ways to kind of dip your toe into buildership and straddle the line. And the challenge of doing that is that you stay stuck. You can't be both. So you have to decide, you have to take a look at the future that is in front of you as a leader, which is that you'll make some steady, tiny incremental gains. You might, be near the top of your district one day, or somewhere solidly in the middle. You might have a school where everybody kind of gets along. Maybe your staff even feels like family. Most kids do okay. And you might even climb the ladder in your district and find your way into central office and achieve some professional success. That's the pathway you have as a leader. But some of your kids are going to fail every single year. Some of your teachers are going to continue to struggle and defy you and do their own thing. And, you're always going to be struggling around getting your whole staff aligned, and you're going to have some people on board, and you hang out with those people, and the ones who aren't on board, you complain about those people. You're always going to have this nagging sensation in your heart that you could have done more for kids, but you didn't. You will achieve a degree of professional success, but you will sacrifice some professional satisfaction because you knew that there was more you could do. And so over time, you'll rationalize it. You'll say, I did my best. There were some kids who never would have made it if I hadn't done it, while ignoring the kids who didn't make it, even though you did some things to help them. And at the end of your career, you'll look around and you will have become the person that you often criticized when you were a teacher. You will have become the person that you criticized when you looked around at your fellow principals and they didn't have a passion for 100% of kids. You will have become that. That's one future. That's your leadership path. If you stay on that path, even if you try to straddle leadership and buildership, that's the future waiting for you. Hey, it's Robin here. Real quick, I just want to interrupt this episode for just a second, because if you are enjoying what you're hearing, then would you mind sharing this episode with somebody else? So all you need to do is just go to your phone, if you're listening to it on your phone or your podcast player, and then click the 3 dots next to this episode, and it'll give you the option to share the episode. Now, if you do that, 3 things are going to happen. First, the person that you shared with is going to think you're a hero, especially if they're struggling with what we're talking about right now. They're going to love you. Secondly, Secondly, you're going to feel good because you're going to get the word out about buildership and start building this buildership nation. And third, you will get my eternal gratitude because I really want to get this out to the world and you'd be helping me out. You'd be doing me a huge favor. So please share this episode with someone right now who's dealing with this same issue, someone you think would really benefit. And now back to the show. If you decide to take action and really do the work to become a builder, you have a different future, right? It's going to mean you're going to have to kill some sacred cows. You are going to have to let go of some things that may have been, beneficial to you. You'll still achieve some professional success because you will have taken a school and turned that school into 100% success story. But that professional success doesn't come at the sacrifice of some kids. In fact, that professional success is even bigger because now people are coming to you. They want to know, how did you do it? You can write your ticket in terms of what you want to do. Do you want to stay in the district and begin to create that 100% success, not just in your school, but in the schools across your district? Do you want to become a consultant and begin to show other principals how to do that? Do you want to coach other principals? Do you want to write a book? Do you want to stay at your school and continue to build a model school where other people from all over the country come and visit to see what you're doing in your school? You write your ticket. So you still get the professional success, but that success comes because you've helped every child succeed, not in spite of the fact you didn't help every child succeed. In addition to that, you have professional satisfaction because you actually made a difference. You can look back on your career and feel proud of what you've done because you were a builder. Now, one of those futures has to die. One of those futures has to die. When you choose leadership, that buildership future has to die. When you choose buildership, that leadership future has to die. And by trying to straddle both, by understanding buildership and still not taking action and becoming truly a builder and implementing that whole model into your professional practice, when you do that, we try to kind of play both hands and you stay inactive and you continue to just talk about it, but you don't ever choose to be about it. You kill the buildership future. And in doing so, you kill the future for some of your kids. I know that sounds dramatic. I just don't know another way to say it. You kill the future for some of your kids because you've decided that you can't reach every kid and you've decided to be okay with that. Instead of figuring out how, you've decided that there's some kids who just aren't going to make it on your watch. If you choose the buildership future, you kill your leadership future. You kill that future where you are just maybe even achieving professional success, but at the sacrifice of what you came to this profession to do, which was to help and to serve every single kid. So which future dies? That's what it boils down to. And if you really believe in the principles of buildership, you got to go all in. You cannot straddle. Straddling the line is nothing but leadership dressed up. Straddling the line just is a way to make you feel better about your decision to stay a leader. And that's what keeps you in inaction. But once you truly embrace buildership, once you truly embrace 100% success for every kid, you must take action. And that's why the builders who truly, truly, truly believe in it, they take action right away and they see results right away. And they keep moving. So if you feel like you're consuming a lot of information about buildership, but you're not truly moving in that direction, then you have to ask yourself, do I really believe that buildership is better than leadership? Do I really believe in 100% success for every kid? Do I really believe that buildership is the way to get me there? And if you do, then you got to stop straddling the line and you've got to fully embrace it. You've got to let that leadership future and activities die and fully embrace buildership. All right, so the first reason that we get stuck in inaction is that we don't believe. The second reason that we get stuck in inaction is because we have given the power to move to other people. So a lot of times people will say, I believe in buildership, but my teachers are fighting me on it, or my district doesn't support me. Those are that other people thing. So let's talk about it. You see, if you're a builder and you truly believe in this, then nobody can stop you from building. The whole idea about being a builder and the thing that makes being a builder different than being a leader is that as a leader, you have to wait for other people before you can move forward, right? You're not leading if nobody's following you, which means you can only move as fast as the people behind you move. When you're a builder, you're supposed to go out by yourself. You're supposed to start building. Nobody's going to support you when you first start. Your teachers are going to think you're crazy and you're pushing too hard. Your district is going to think that you're being unrealistic. So what? They haven't seen it yet. You haven't proved it yet. As a builder, you go out ahead, you start building, and when people see what you are building, then you invite them to join you in it, and that's when you get their support. So it is unrealistic to expect everybody to believe and buy into what you're doing from the very beginning, because you're building something they've never seen. You are building something that didn't currently exist in your school. So if you're waiting for them to move, then you're not a builder, you're a leader. A builder says, I'm going to go out and I'm going to start building because this is important. And then you trust that as you build and you invite people to come join you in building, then things change. A lot of people just want to talk about buildership, and they're waiting for other people to give them permission to start building. They're waiting for their staff to be on board before they start building. No, just build. And then invite them to join you once you've actually done something. Stop talking about it and be about it. Third thing that stops us, so we've gone through belief, we've gone through other people. The third thing that stops us is that we think there's something in us that's holding us back. We don't know how to do something. We don't have confidence in our ability to start building. We feel stuck. And this is one I have a lot of compassion for, because being a builder is very different. We have a ton of training and experience on how to be a leader. We have very little training and experience on how to be a builder. And because you're stepping out there by yourself, you kind of look around and everybody else thinks you're crazy. And so you begin to wonder, am I? We say all the time in Buildership University, when you become a builder, you become the weirdo in your district. People look at you and you're like, oh, especially at the beginning, she thinks she's going to get 100% success. What's wrong with her? She'll learn. And so you're kind of out there by yourself. One of the reasons we created Buildership University, so you wouldn't have to be. You could be around your tribe of weirdos, other people who are doing it and believing in it, so that you can drown out the naysayers and be around people who aren't talking about it, but they are being about it. And that can kind of encourage you, right? So that safe space for you to be able to do that. But when you feel inadequate as a builder, here's the thing that you have to tell yourself. You can continue to consume and learn about it and that sort of thing, but you won't really actually understand what it takes to be a builder until you start building. A lot of people think, I believe in buildership. I'm ready to build, but I need to learn more, but I need to figure this out. And so they go read books and listen to podcasts, and they think that if they just consume enough information, it'll give them the confidence to move forward. Well, here's what I need to say to that, which is that you won't develop the confidence until you start building. You can learn about buildership all day long, but you don't become a builder until you actually start building. Will you make mistakes? Yes. But the beautiful part about being a builder is every mistake puts you further on the pathway, because builders know how to take their mistakes, learn from them, and make what they're building even better. Will you stumble at first? Of course. But it's not fatal. You're stumbling now, right? You make mistakes now. So making mistakes is not the problem. You're always going to make mistakes. The problem is that we let our past mistakes burn us twice. Once when we made this mistake in the past, and then we get burned again because we don't move forward with something we really believe in because we're scared and scarred from the mistake we made in the past. Don't let a past mistake burn you twice. Instead, trust the process. I say this to people in Buildership University all the time. You've got to trust the process. And one of the things that I've been working on, this is where I'm dedicating my life right now, is that it is taking me 20 years to learn enough to be able to develop this buildership model and the tools around it. 20 years of working with tens of thousands of educators, of making all the mistakes, of missing points and then going back and saying, oh no, we need this part, of building tools and testing them and having people come back and say, this isn't working, and then figuring them out and redesigning the tools and coming up with tools that will work. And so by doing that, I've made a lot of the mistakes for you. I don't know if I thought I was doing it for you. I mean, I've just made a lot of the mistakes. I've learned from them. And the nice thing about it is that now we have a program that can help you, sidestep some of the mistakes you might make on your own so that you can make better mistakes. Because you're going to make mistakes, and we can't prevent you from doing that. But you're not making mistakes that are as fatal. The mistakes you make are really mistakes that help you learn, that help you grow, that actually put you ahead. And a lot of the other more fatal mistakes, I've already made them, and to learn from them, and you get to benefit from that as well. So I get it. I get sometimes, you can feel like this is so new and I'm ill-equipped. You always are going to be ill-equipped at the beginning of the journey. But the moment you start building, you learn, you get better. If you think that you're going to read yourself into perfection, you're not. Perfection isn't even available to us. Instead, what you want to do is you want to start building. That's how you become a builder. That's how you learn. You start building. You know enough right now to get started. And so today I want to challenge you. Stop talking about it. Be about it. This is a brand new school year. You have an opportunity this year to do something transformative. You have an opportunity this year to make this year better than you could have imagined. Will it be easy? No. I always say buildership it's hard, but it's simple. It's hard, but you're working hard anyway. Why not work hard at things that actually matter, things that actually pay off, things where you can actually see results? And it doesn't have to be complicated or confusing. It's very, very simple. It's very, very straightforward. But you already know enough to get started. Now it's time to build. You've consumed enough information. You don't need any more information to now get started. You just need to stop talking about it and go and start being about it like a builder. I'll talk to you next time. Hey, if you're ready to get started being a builder right away, then I want to invite you to join us at Buildership University. It's our exclusive online community for builders just like you, where you'll be able to get the exact training that you need to turn your school into a success story right now with the people and resources you already have. Inside, you'll find our best online courses, live trainings with me, tons of resources, templates, and exemplars, and monthly live office hours with me, where you can ask me anything and get my help on whatever challenge you're facing right now. If you're tired of hitting obstacle after obstacle and you're sick of tiny little incremental gains each year, if you're ready to make a dramatic difference in your school right now, then you need to join Buildership University. Just go to buildershipuniversity.com and get started writing your school success story today. Hey everybody, it's Robin here. I hope you enjoyed that episode and the straight talk that came from that episode. We're going to be opening up the doors to Buildership University in just a few days. And if you know that you want some support to help you to stop talking about it and actually being about it, then go to buildershipuniversity.com and sign up for this next cohort of Buildership University, and we can get started building your 100% success story right away, like a builder.